Have you ever looked at someone you loved and wondered how long they had been lying straight to your face? My name is Anna, and before I begin, make sure you follow and subscribe, because I promise you, the way this story ends is not what you are expecting. I guess every betrayal has a beginning. Mine began quietly, slowly, almost invisibly. The kind of betrayal that slips into your life through locked doors and familiar smiles. If you had asked me a year ago if my husband Mark was capable of cheating, I would have laughed. The man could not even keep a surprise party secret without sweating. But life teaches you brutally sometimes that the people you trust the most are often the ones sharpening the knife behind your back. It started with small things. Mark guarding his phone like it was a bomb, turning the screen away from me, stepping outside to take calls, pretending to be stressed with work, even though his hours had not changed. I told myself I was being dramatic, paranoid, insecure. That word, insecure. It hits differently when someone you love uses it like a weapon. One evening around 10 p.m., he got a message that lit up the whole living room. Mark jumped like he had been electrocuted, flipped the phone over, and forced a smile so fake it practically cracked. "Work stuff," he said, but his voice trembled. I wanted to ask him who it was. I wanted to grab the phone. I wanted to do everything women do when they feel the ground shifting under their feet. But something inside me whispered, "Stay quiet, watch, listen, let him dig his own grave." And so I did. I stayed quiet for weeks. Weeks that stretched like they would never end. Every day he got bolder. Longer showers, late returns, sudden gym trips. He started dressing nicer, spraying cologne he had not worn in years. His lies were sloppy, rushed, almost lazy. He thought I was stupid. He thought I would never look through his things. He thought I would never, ever leave. But that is the thing about betrayal. It wakes up parts of you that you did not even know existed. The moment everything changed came on a Sunday morning. He was in the shower. His phone buzzed, lit up, and for the first time in months, he forgot to take it with him. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might break through my ribs. I walked over slowly, terrified and furious and numb all at once. One message, one preview, from a name I did not recognize. Last night was unbelievable. "Miss you already." My whole world froze. I did not open it. I did not scroll. I did not need to. My chest felt like someone had reached inside and crushed everything soft and warm. But there was another feeling too, sharp and electric. Clarity. I put the phone back exactly where he left it and sat on the couch like nothing happened. When he walked out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel, smiling, humming, acting like the man I had built a life with, I felt something inside me snap quietly. Not loudly, quietly. And quiet changes? Those are the deadly ones. He kissed my forehead. I did not react. He asked if I wanted breakfast. I said no. He did not notice the stiffness in my voice. He did not notice anything. That was the day I realized how checked out he truly was. I spent the next 3 days doing something he never expected. I prepared. I observed him, tracked him, collected screenshots without opening anything on his phone. I knew his passcode, of course I did. He never bothered to change it. I recorded dates, messages, locations, all while speaking to him normally, acting normal, smiling, cooking dinner, asking about work. I became invisible. He had no idea the woman he was cheating on was also the woman building the perfect case against him. By the end of the week, I knew everything. Her name was Lisa, a coworker from his office. He had been seeing her for months. They had inside jokes, plans, hotel receipts, hidden photos, little videos, midnight calls. Everything you would expect from a man who swore he loved his wife. But the worst part? They talked about me. They laughed about me. She does not suspect a thing. She is too trusting. She would never leave. Every time I heard those words, something inside me hardened, turned colder, sharper. He did not just break my heart. He underestimated me. And that was going to cost him far more than he ever imagined. One night, while he was working late, I sat alone in the kitchen with all the evidence spread out in front of me. My hands shook. My stomach twisted. But there was no sadness left. Just strategy. I contacted a lawyer, a calm man with quiet eyes who listened to everything I said without interrupting. When I finished, he closed the file, looked straight at me and said, "You have far more power than you think. And if you want to walk away with everything, we can make that happen." That was the first moment I felt a spark of hope. We made a plan. A slow, patient, devastating plan. Not one fueled by anger or screaming, or throwing clothes into the yard at 2 a.m. No, this revenge was not impulsive. It was surgical. The lawyer told me not to confront Mark, not to hint that I knew anything. The longer he believed I was clueless, the stronger my case became. So I did exactly that. I pretended. I laughed at his jokes. I cooked his favorite meals. I kissed him goodnight. The whole time he would leave after pretending to go to bed with me, sneaking out to meet her. He thought he was clever. He thought he was living some exciting double life. But the truth was, he was walking into a trap he built himself. A month later, everything was ready. Every document, every recording, every screenshot. My lawyer had built a case so airtight Mark could not run from it even if he tried. But I wanted one thing before the final blow. I wanted him to know. Not by screaming, not by crying, not by begging him to explain why he threw our life away like trash. No. I wanted him to feel the same quiet, suffocating panic he had made me feel for months. The night I confronted him, he came home smelling like cologne and lies. He smiled at me, kissed me, grabbed a beer, and sat on the couch like he had not just spent hours with another woman. I sat across from him, calm, steady, almost peaceful, and I asked a simple question. Mark, if you were hiding something, would you ever tell me? He froze. Completely froze. Then he laughed nervously. What are you talking about? That was when I placed his phone in front of him. His face went white. I did not even unlock it. I did not need to. I know, I said softly. Everything. He started stuttering, lying, making excuses. Saying it meant nothing, that he was stressed, that he loved me, that it was a mistake. I just sat there, watching him panic, watching the facade crumble. And then I said the line that broke him. You cheated for months, Mark, months. And I stayed quiet. Until the perfect moment. He stopped breathing for a second. I slid the folder across the coffee table, the lawyer's documents, the evidence, everything. He opened it. The color drained from his face. You cannot do this, he whispered. Oh, I said gently. I already did. He begged. Then he yelled. Then he cried. Then he tried to guilt me. Then he tried to blame me. The full cycle of a man who never thought his actions would have consequences. But I was done. Completely done. I stood up, picked up my bag, walked to the door, and said, Your perfect little secret life? It ends tonight. His voice cracked. Where are you going? Somewhere you cannot follow. And I left. The next morning, the legal papers arrived at his workplace in front of everyone. His boss, his coworkers. Yes, including Lisa. He tried calling. He tried showing up. But I did not answer. For the first time in his life, Mark had to face himself without me standing between him and his consequences. And that was only the beginning. People think the moment you walk away from a cheater, the story ends. But that is a lie. Sometimes the real story begins after you leave, after the slam of the door, after the silence, after the shock settles into something heavier, darker, more powerful. That was the part Mark never understood. He thought losing me would hurt, sure, but he never imagined what losing his control, his image, and his carefully constructed lies would do to him. And honestly, neither did I. 2 days after the papers hit his desk, he showed up at my sister's house, pounding on the door so hard the frame shook. I did not open it. I watched him through the curtains, messy hair, wrinkled clothes, shaking hands, a man who finally realized he was not untouchable. Anna, he shouted, please, talk to me. I stayed quiet. He kept begging, kept pacing, kept crying. He even knelt on the porch, hands in his hair, mumbling to himself. It should have hurt to see him that way. It should have broken me. But I felt nothing. Just a cold, clean freedom. Like breathing fresh air after being trapped underground. My sister Maya opened the door a crack. You need to leave before I call the police. He begged her too. Please, I just need to explain. There is nothing left to explain, she said, and shut the door in his face. He stayed outside for another 20 minutes before finally giving up. When he drove away, I felt something lift from my chest. Like the ghost of the woman I used to be finally left with him. But the fallout? Oh, it was only beginning. The news spread through his office like wildfire. Lisa, the woman he cheated with, had no idea what was about to hit her. Her name was all over the evidence. Her messages, her photos, her calls. She panicked so hard she deleted all her social media within a day. I heard she even quit her job a week later. Mark tried to protect her at first, but when his reputation started slipping through his fingers, he turned on her faster than I expected. Classic. He called her a mistake. A misunderstanding. A moment of weakness. He begged his boss not to discipline him, but his boss is a married man with 3 kids. He did not find Mark's moment of weakness cute. I heard he got suspended, pending reputational review. That phrase alone made me sleep peacefully for the first time in months. But the real chaos came when his mother called me. "Anna," she said with that disappointed sigh mothers perfect over decades. "I heard what you did." "What I did?" I repeated. "Yes, you embarrassed him at work. You ruined his life over one mistake. One mistake. One mistake." I swear something inside me cracked open at those words. Months of lies, humiliation, betrayal, reduced to one mistake. "Is that what he told you?" I asked quietly. "He is devastated," she continued. "You should come talk to him. Save your marriage before it is too late." I hung up. No explanation. No yelling, no speech. Just click. And I blocked her number. What I did not know was that she would show up in person. 2 days later, she banged on Maya's door the same way her son had. When Maya opened it, Mark's mother stormed inside like she owned the place. "Where is she?" she demanded. I stepped out from the hallway, calm, steady. She pointed a shaking finger at me. "How could you do this? Divorce? Legal action? What were you thinking?" "That I deserved better," I said. "He made a mistake." "You raised him," I replied. "Maybe you should ask yourself why he thinks every terrible thing he does is just a mistake." She went pale, then red. Then she started attacking me with words I wish I could forget, calling me dramatic, ungrateful, cold-hearted. Maya eventually had to step between us. "Get out," she said. "You cannot speak to me that way," Mark's mother snapped. "Then leave before I call someone who can." She left, but not before throwing one last dagger over her shoulder. "You will regret this. Women always regret leaving a good man." A good man. The words made me laugh out loud. But the truth was, I did regret something. I regretted staying with him as long as I did. The divorce dragged on longer than expected. Every time he signed a paper, every time another piece of evidence hit the table, he crumbled a little more. He tried everything: apologies, threats, manipulation, pretending to change, pretending to be suicidal, pretending to be helpless. He even sent flowers to my workplace. I returned them with a sticky note that said, "No returns, no refunds." 2 months after I left, I moved into my own apartment, small, quiet, sunlight in the mornings. I kept the windows open every chance I could. Freedom has a smell. You notice it when it is finally yours. But Mark, he did not do so well. People in town talked about him. Not in the poor Mark way he hoped. More in the wow, he finally got what he deserved way. He started isolating himself, showing up late to work, looking tired, worn down, almost hollow. His friends drifted away. His coworkers avoided him. His family blamed him behind closed doors. He called me one last time. I almost did not answer, but something inside me said I needed closure. "Anna," he said, voice broken. "I lost everything." I stayed silent. "I know I destroyed us," he continued. "But why did you do it like this? Why so quiet? Why didn't you scream? Or fight or warn me?" "Because you would have prepared for it," I said. "You would have hidden things. You would have manipulated me. You would have made me doubt myself. Staying quiet was the only way to beat you." He swallowed hard. "I loved you." "No," I said softly. "You loved that I loved you. That is different." He started crying, hard, messy. For a moment, I almost pitied him. Almost, but then I remembered the months of lies, the messages, the way he laughed with her, the way he let me feel stupid, small, insignificant. "I hope you heal," I said. "Just not with me." And I hung up. That was the last conversation we ever had. The divorce finalized 2 weeks later. I walked away with the house, the savings, the car, the retirement accounts, everything. No guilt. No apology. No regret. Mark tried to contest it, but the evidence was too strong. The lawyer too good. The truth too loud. He ended up moving into a tiny apartment across town. People said he looked thinner, older, like life had drained the color out of him. Meanwhile, I got better. I went back to therapy, started journaling again, reconnected with friends I had drifted away from. I even adopted a cat named Monroe, who hated men and loved sleeping on my keyboard. It was peaceful, quiet, healing, until one night everything changed again. I was coming home late from work. The hallway was dark, the kind of dark that makes your heart beat a little faster. When I stepped up to my door, I saw an envelope taped to it. My name written in Mark's handwriting. My stomach twisted. Inside was a single piece of paper. A photo. Of me. Taken through my apartment window. My hands went cold. The back of my neck prickled. I stared at the image, fuzzy, zoomed in, but clearly me sitting at my kitchen table. No note, no explanation. Just the picture. I called Maya immediately. She told me to lock every door. Call the police, stay calm. But how do you stay calm when your past is standing outside your window taking pictures? The police came, took the photo, wrote a report. But they could not prove it was him. Could be anyone, the officer said. But I knew. Of course I knew. 2 nights later, I heard footsteps outside my door around midnight. Slow, heavy, deliberate. I grabbed the nearest thing I could use as a weapon, a lamp, and stood behind the door, frozen. The footsteps stopped. Then a whisper. Anna. My whole body went cold. It was Mark. I did not breathe. Did not move. Did not speak. After a full minute of silence, he walked away. I did not sleep at all that night. The next morning, I filed a restraining order. He was served within 48 hours. My lawyer told me Mark looked shocked. Like he could not understand why I was being dramatic. That word, again, dramatic. The same word cheaters use when they want to minimize the hell they create. But the restraining order worked. No more envelopes. No more calls. No more whispers outside my door. For the first time since leaving him, I exhaled fully. Months passed. Seasons changed. My life felt lighter, brighter. I finally felt like I was not surviving anymore. I was living. Really living. And then one afternoon, I got a call from a number I did not recognize. It was the police. They told me Mark had been arrested. Not for me, for her. Lisa. Turns out he had been stalking her too. Watching her. Showing up at her gym. Leaving things on her car. She filed a report. They found evidence. He was taken in. When I hung up the phone, I felt something heavy drop from my chest. Not joy. Not satisfaction. Just closure. He ruined his own life, not me. I simply stepped away and let the truth do what the truth always does. That night I sat by my window, watching the city lights, feeling a kind of peace I had never known before. People think revenge is loud. But mine? Mine was quiet, patient, precise. And in the end, it destroyed him more than any screaming match or broken dishes ever could. Before you leave, make sure you follow and subscribe. Because if there is one thing my story proves, it is this. Sometimes silence is the sharpest weapon a woman can carry. And mine cut deeper than he ever expected.